Good morning. It's Friday morning, and I'm not sure how the setup goes. So last week I was being recorded before I knew it, so I thought I'd give it a little time this morning. Anyway, I'm really glad you're here. I want to talk a little bit about balance today as we head into the weekend. I've got my little puppy here. Callie, say hi. So, I've been thinking about balance, and I want you to think about what happens when something is out of balance. How does that work? Let's imagine you have a chair with 3 legs. It's not really going to hold you up, is it? So think about your life if you don't have your life in balance. So can we think about certain areas that we could focus on to bring our life into balance? At Charlotte Soul, I work on 4 in particular areas, and I call it SEEP, S-E-E-P, for spiritual, emotional, environmental, and physical. And so if we looked at our spiritual lives, how are you doing with that? Is it where you want to be? Maybe your spiritual life isn't the same as mine. Maybe your faith is different than mine. Are you tending to what you believe in? Are you going to your house of worship? Are you being with things that help grow your spiritual life? Take a moment and evaluate that this weekend. What about your environmental life? Do you live in a home where there's a lot of toxicity? Do you live in a home that's really messy and it's hard to function in it? Or where there's people there that are uncomfortable to be around and you feel like you need to walk on eggshells just to be in the same space with them? You need to evaluate that and see how that's going to affect your overall balance. How about your emotional health? How are you doing emotionally? Do you work really, really hard to be happy? Do you possibly need to go see a counselor or a psychiatrist or a coach or a pastor or somebody that can help you deal with some stuff? Do you feel like you're alone and that nobody understands you? That's not the case. Those are just lies that we all tend to have from time to time, and some of us have them worse than others. And I can tell you for sure that it does not have to be a permanent state, but it doesn't go away, and you need to take time and go tend to it. So we've talked about your spiritual, environmental, your emotional, and now what about your physical health? How are you doing physically? Are you overweight? Are you tired? Are you just not where you want to be physically? Is that something you're waiting to just happen upon you? Or is that something that you need to take the bull by the horns and move into? Getting your life into balance is not an easy thing. It is slow moving and it's piece by piece. You can't go this weekend and all of a sudden bring it into balance. But could you not take this weekend and download my journal off of charlottesoul.com and look at those 4 areas of your life and think of maybe one possible thing you could do to work toward more balance in your spiritual life? What's something you could do? Thinking about myself, I could, I'm going to go to church, make that commitment. That's something I do. There's room for me to improve my prayer life. My environmental life, I went and washed my car yesterday. That's a really big deal. I recognized if my car's not clean, then I'm not really on my game. And actually I told my husband that. I said, please note, if my car's not clean, that's an indication that I'm not really caring for myself. So I got my car cleaned yesterday. That felt really, really good. That's part of an environment where I spend a lot of time. Emotionally, to check in and make sure that my relationships are good, and maybe they're not good, and maybe part of my emotional health means to set up a boundary and kind of keep someone out of my life who is hurting me, or work on a relationship. Maybe that work is only as small as a willingness to be willing to forgive, or a prayer for someone, or a contact with someone. It could be anything. So my physical environment, or my physical body, for me, it's constantly an issue. So I need to exercise, I need to eat properly. I really struggle with food. I have an eating disorder, and I will tell you more about that as weeks go on in my life. But it's a huge issue for me, and I have a coach who helps me. Here's my little puppy, Tally. Glad you're here. I have a coach who helps me stay accountable with my eating, and I am really thankful for that, but that's something that I've had to invest in because I can't do it by myself. So that's all the time we have today. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourself this weekend so you can take care of those that you love. God bless you.